Chapter 15, Spirit of a Warrior. I don't care where you think you came from or what faith you believe, there's no denying that we were made for more. Everyone has their place. We can't all be at the top, or is that just a state of mind? So how many me moments do you have? Not the selfish ones where you go do things that only temporarily fill a void. I'm talking about the ones that help your inner soul be at peace. Meditation, positive thinking, working out, or even reflecting on the day's deeds to help build your gift. Everyone says go for it, acting like nothing in between matters. I hear story after story, video after video of how to do it, but I never hear about the family. I never hear about how you balance all of your family needs, chase your plan, and not be a zombie when you're home. What good are you to spend countless hours grinding only to be there with the lights on but nobody's home? You can be all of these things and truly happy. You will discover energy and time when you own your truth and you realize how important all these things are to you. You can't understand it because you're not there yet. Your moment will come and it will be epic. Where do raising kids fall into leadership? Again, referencing my teenage daughter who is 12 going on 17 and as independent as they come. It will be a gift when she is an adult, but a curse to try and raise because her strong-willed mind refuses to back down or submit to direction and authority. As cold and quiet as she is, she still needs loved and told how beautiful of a person she is. Usually there's never the right moment like in the movies, but you can find ways. Write a note, send a text, or even do something unexpected. I used to go to her room and ask her how she was doing, how her day was, and most times it was a one-sided chat. So I would massage her and try to get her to open up, even if it was just a little bit. Your children need to know you love them and that you will be there no matter what, and you had better live up to those words. If you want your children to take this world head on and be confident through all the ugly, then you had better start with them as teenagers, making sure they understand what love and hard work is. You can save your children a lot of hurt later in life because they will respect themselves and the process of being loved and giving love. Warriors understand that winning doesn't always mean winning the big moment. So many intentionally or unintentionally fall back on excuses and reasons why they can't do it. To pursue also means you must stay humble and grateful, especially when others are suffering. Why would you not go for it and do it? Are you really that out of shape or exhausted that you can't put some time into it? Is the couch the only place you find peace just to get up and do the same boring things every day? Why not hit that huge milestone and then make everyone around you just as blessed by your blessings? When your body feels sluggish, you lack energy or just off, what must you do? Detox it. Cleanse your system so it will function smoothly and then shift to having a clear mental state. Meditation is huge. I can recall always knowing about meditation and training the mind, but I never really took it serious. I relied on my street smarts, but I found out that can only get you so far. The formula requires street smarts complemented with a managerial and leadership smarts. Many can survive off street smarts, but don't know how to leverage themselves to get people to follow them to higher leadership positions. Leverage to take that position over the person who is a best friend of the boss or even someone who kisses everyone's backside. You should never change where you stand. There should always be a mutual respect for the other side, but stand firm on your convictions, even if it means getting passed up. Prove that without a title, you are everything you said you are. Even if they fail to see it, stay true to yourself and push for greatness. I was once told that I was a hard sell and that I just needed some more time. Even though I was proving daily I had the skills and the ability, this leader never took any interest in actually learning more about me. Unfortunately for him, this would be his loss, but it also would be the last time that I would be told not ready. It sparked a fire and put in motion my true passion. To understand this, you must have an out-of-body experience with your heart, soul, and mind. Meditation, when practiced correctly, can provide that inner connection. You must prepare to be able to handle the criticism or you will start believing someone's perception of you. Even if there is truth to the criticism, you still should pursue life with no boundaries. To the life to live you've always wanted to make, in that next step you must detox. Remove and flush the negative, clear the mind of past failures, and start ideas about what needs to happen that force change. What can't you shake? You know it. You think about it all the time. What needs a deep scrubbing to open the door for something new to come in, and that's full of hope. The spirit of the warrior knows his journey will require a detox of all the excuses. Follow these leadership detox steps to renew and refresh your mind, heart, and soul. Number 1, let go of your baggage. It's time to see life without everything dragging behind you. Number 2, breathe in and release all the bad energy out. Bad vibes cause dysfunction. Number 3, go soul searching. It's time to find out who you are. Connect with Earth. Number 4, connect with that person inside. Find peace knowing that that person is amazing. Number 5, find closure. It's time to forgive yourself and move forward. Find freedom from your fight. After you detox, continue with these 10 steps to start that unbreakable foundation. This foundation will take time to mature. Don't lose sight of meaningful lessons along the way. Number 1, focus on strengths before exposing weaknesses. Young or new leaders are fresh and vulnerable. Try to build confidence before exposing all of their weaknesses. Number 2, be a strong leader. That means being consistent, understanding, available, not choosing a side, and not creating an environment of us against them. Number 3, what are your staff or people working towards? Day in and day out, 1 day or 15 years of experience, all should be working towards something. It can be small wins to meet a nearly impossible goal. People need things to strive for, or they will naturally fall back into their mundane routine life with no expectations. Number 4, when pressured, what side and decision will you make? Have you thought this through to see where you stand before calling out in the heat of the moment? Don't cause barriers between you, your staff, or your team. Number 5, be honest and be honorable. This means you are who you are in the reality of the situation. First, no one wants to work with or be a part of a dishonest person. Someone they struggle to trust will find themselves being questioned or silently losing the crowd. The second is no one wants to be told it's a sunny day when it's clearly dark and about to storm. Be honest with what you can and give what always provide a plan to fight through it. Leaving the message dark only diminishes the team's chances of winning. Being honest means you respect the process of being honorable. Your focus should be on the well-being of the people you are leading with the consideration of what is best for the business or situation's core values. One can't survive without the other, so find mutual ground to meet the expectations but also balance their desires. 7. Step 1 is to understand the overall condition. You can't fool yourself and in return fool your team into pursuing something they don't understand. Most times you will have to articulate your vision, but they should at least understand how the little pieces play a role in it and trust you to keep it moving forward. Your team has to buy in, or you will find delay after delay, because someone else thought they knew better, or they truly thought their voice wasn't heard, so they tried to forge their own path. Number 8, which is step 2, don't change things right away and learn the art of observing and listening. Your focus should be on improving what you can, but that doesn't exempt you from not making decisions. You must trust some wisdom and insight around you, especially if you're in a position of authority to make the decision. Only a fool would not take wise counsel from the respected individuals that surround him. Number 9, you have a personal responsibility to yourself, so you must critique your performance daily. Number 10, you must have conviction in your vision. The likelihood that you will know exactly what mission you are asking your team to pursue is very low. Have a strong conviction about what you do know and have the ability to adjust on the fly. This is how you make it come to life. Share it with your team so that they can focus on a path to the finish line. Once that goal is met, use them and help them create another vision. People want to understand why they are doing something, but that doesn't mean they need every detail. Keeping structure and creativity is what makes work bearable and enjoyable. Most people want it and have what it takes, but that doubt staring at their situation for years begins to tantalize them. They just need to be reminded of how tough they are and how good they are. They just need reminded and inspired. You must be different if you want to make a difference. Look around. It should be very easy to see how everyone just falls into place. This can be discouraging if you're leading these people, but encouraging if you're trying to position yourself as a leader. Taking on an extreme shift isn't sustainable. You go hardcore in your life and expect it to just fall into place. Do what is necessary to keep the body alive. The body wants to be alive, so you must feed it. The brain needs oxygen, and it thrives off of adrenaline that comes from creativity and when you have that true feel-good moment. In its simplest form, ask yourself, are you a blessing or a burden to someone? I want you to think about that powerful moment that only came after you should have been defeated, but your resilience, perseverance, and grit never stopped believing that you were designed for something more. It's a dark place to fight, but even if you have no one to turn to for advice, turn to your faith. We come from broken families that turn into broken situations. Ask yourself, am I one of the broken pieces waiting for someone else to put it back together, or am I the caretaker? The caretaker knows you can't put it back together the way it was, and he also knows that what's broken needs repaired, never going to back to what it was before. What's your perspective to this life when it breaks? Seeing it as a necessary process will position you as the owner of your own crisis, which offers a way out. If you're on the other end of the spectrum, you will be broke and stay broke. You will never find clarity or closure if an extension of the problem and not the solution. Everyone feels their voice needs to be heard, or they need to stand their ground in order for anything to change. Reality is our misconception. It is what has been misguiding us, ultimately leading to poor decisions and no true traction as a leader. Life requires leadership in order to be successful. Every decision we make results in a change in this world. That change impacts us and everyone around us. You should not spend time worrying about change, but more on what you can do with it. What opportunities will you have, and will you be able to create a new life through those opportunities? You must learn how to close the gap between a leader and a follower. You must expose and fix your weaknesses before you can start to fix someone else's. You will also learn that you can dream big. Why not? There's no limit to your success, and as you dream, think differently from those around you. Imagine looking at a cloud in the sky. Do you see a cloud for what it is, or do you see the sky as having no limits? You are gifted, and we all have a responsibility to lead. Use your gift to positively impact the lives around you. A warrior knows where his time and energy are spent. What do you give energy to? Is it positive or negative? I put my energy into following my dream and thought nothing else mattered. For years, this has been the message I had heard, and in my mind, I was doing those things with good intentions. But I heard something once that stuck with me. If you're looking for balance in your life, then you're looking for the wrong thing. If you really want to push through the ceiling and have your big break, then you can't have perfect balance. Something must be different than everyone else around, but you must also spend your time in the chaos that we don't necessarily understand if we want to find balance. I learned that you need to be out of balance, but have your priorities in line. You honor your spouse and family by making sure they're there for them, but also by communicating along the way. Let them in on your crazy ideas and include them so they know and understand your motivation better. Balance is the opposite of greatness. You must put the work in when no one else is. You must control your mind to do things when you would rather just sit on the couch. You must tell yourself that your moment could be just around the corner, so you need to be prepared. You need to be ready. Balance, in a sense, will take you back to the beginning. You may have confidence, you may be comfortable, but to break through your situation and create your own destiny, comfort and balance can't be on the menu. Being out of balance means you don't let a 10-hour day of work stop you from working on your plan that night. It's positioning and working in the weekends when your 9 to 5 is done. The lesson is to understand balance first so you can handle the chaos. Once you handle the chaos, you can jump to the deep end. We are emotional creatures, and even when we get ourselves in check, it feels like everything around us notices this and then starts falling apart. That's where finding balance is critical before you can breach the barricade. You see, we are all in a hostage situation, and at some point, we must stop trying to talk ourselves off the ledge and just bust through it. We must be in a good state of mind because we may have a situation where you're at the bottom and you have to turn it all around. Maybe life is just good enough where you can't complain, but you're not satisfied. The money's good, you're at home at a decent hour, you're making time for your family, and things are in line, but there's still something burning inside of you that says there's more. Balance really is just understanding stability, and when you find it in your life and in your relationships, you're stronger because your loyalty isn't questioned. We rely on our emotions to guide us, and it feels good. when we get things moving in the right direction. But we cannot let it consume us. I see it every day around me. People completely go unconscious emotionally, and they are hostages to their situation. When you understand your priorities and they are in line with your goals, it's the foundation to help take you to the next level, especially when times get tough and you get separated from your comfort zone. When spending more time on your plan than your family, you must have something to fall back on to keep you grounded. You must make sure you write down what's important to you, because we all need that reality check. And at the end of the day, we must know why we are fighting for this. You could have millions of dollars, sacrificed every relationship you've had with good intentions, but if your family's not there when you're done, what was it all for? Push yourself beyond your limits, but do not forget what's most valuable to you. You need to make sure you are fighting the war in front of you and not the one behind you. How many giants have you faced? How many have conquered you before you even step foot on the battlefield? How many have just whipped you up and down without any effort? Your giant is your weakness, and as a bold leader, you must face your struggles, understand them, and then defeat them. Face your fear, face your doubt, face your giant. Are you consumed with yourself that you fail to understand the enemy, or that the opportunity is right in front of your face? How can you use today to do great things if your mind is filled with all the worries of the world? Have you really prepared for this battle? Do you know what you're competing against so that you have the right tools at the right time? Do you know when to fight and when to listen, or are you just reacting to every situation, finding yourself deeper in the rat race? You shouldn't wait for your enemy to come to you. You must have the confidence that win or lose today, you will be great. What we usually miss is this courage to lead with no fear, is what encourages those around us to follow and emulate us. How can you find out your gift or your talent if you are never tested? The universe doesn't care about the size of your problem. This is a way for it to display its glory through your life. You have weaknesses, but those are what protect you to reinforce your strengths and ultimately protect your inner core. Make sure you lift your head up, because you look rough, you look beat down, and everyone can see yourself through a half smile. Your body language is fake, your shoulders are dropped, and everyone can see the stress you carry, because your responses make people feel like they can't go on another day because you're down in the dumps. This must be day after day with time, energy, intentional effort, sweat, blood, and tears. Put your shoulders back and smile, because you have been given this day to make someone else's life better. In return, you will find the blessing you seek. There is joy and satisfaction when we explore the world of truly helping someone else. It's a different level of gratitude that you can't find in yourself, because it must come from someone else appreciating you for who you are. There is a joke that sums up how we are sometimes perceived by this world. 3 guys were talking about having control over their wives, and 2 of them were complaining about how they could never get the edge. The third, though, softly said, "My wife actually got on her hands and knees and came to me at my mercy." They were amazed at how he was able to do it and asked for his secret. He said, "Well, she got down on her hands and knees, crawled over, and said, 'When you're ready to fight like a man, you can come out from under the bed.'" You see, as leaders, no matter how we handle situations or how many times we've been through it, if we don't face our problems, we lose respect. It doesn't mean we are to lose our minds and make a scene, but consistency and follow through to what is best. Most times we don't know how to call out and surrender. We fight, kick, and scream all the way to the end, and the last thing you want is the end to be when you're old and in poor health. I've never seen anyone who worked extremely hard regret where their life ended up. Sure, they may have missed some moments, but they never gave up, and it meant some closure for their story. What good is a life spent worrying or chasing something that had no value or failed to bring value to someone else's life? We come out of the womb innocent and helpless, but the instincts to survive either make you angry, submissive, or a fighter. This world will eat you alive. It has no mercy for those who can't control their mind or get back up when they have been beat down. If not today, then probably not tomorrow. The message is simple, but the delivery is difficult. If it were to ask you at any given time, do you trust your ability? Are you living life to the fullest and without regret? Could you confidently answer yes to all 3? You must first tell yourself that it's okay to be happy in this crazy state of confusion. We don't, however, have to accept it as a permanent and carry it with us every day. You shouldn't feel your happiness has to be stripped away and left to be picked up to pieces in order for you to grow. It just means you must accept the reality of the situation you're in and start chipping away at it. Being discouraged will only pull you further from the natural laws of life that can bless you. This universe is big, powerful, and can provide. We know this just by looking around us. Do you see how beautiful the earth, the sun, the moon, and the creative lives of people? How many of you spend your time hoping for joy and peace rather than actually experiencing it? How many, though, are grateful for what you have and what you become, but wish your circumstances were different? I want to continue showing you how to get out of your circumstance, but take note again, it will not be easy. Difficult times define people, and it truly is the fight or flight experience. Will you crumble and fall back in line, continuing to struggle day in and day out, or will you take a hard look at yourself and see what part needs chiseled away for new life to take form? Healthy fear wakes you up, but doubt demoralizes you. Fear brings on high alert sensors. You're cautious and engaged. Fear of failure ends in disaster, but a healthy fear says you recognize what could take you down, but you never let it win. When you doubt, you self-destruct. Doubt doesn't care. It doesn't rescue you. It only weakens and paralyzes you. The circumstance you're in shouldn't be your story. Your story is created because of your circumstance. If you had no experiences that you learned from, you would have no reason for humility. What reason, then, would you have to share your gift? There would be no story. What drives you and what gets you up every day? Ask yourself, why me? You are chosen, just like many others, but if you fail to realize that the poison is set in motion to divide, disguise, and destroy, then you will fall right in line. We often have people come into our lives that we were not expecting to show up. These people create a connection that you know is not of this earth, and you appreciate getting to know them. One in particular, a gentleman I met, spoke with such conviction that I knew in the first minute he had a gift. Like most, he had a story. And that story was being told with his attitude of gratitude and appreciation to everyone he came in contact with. I knew he had some fire inside of him and wanted to tap into it, so I asked him to write a message to those fighting to find their place in this world. His message is below, and it's worth the read. The Spirit lives inside of all of us. Is yours a warrior? Spirit of a warrior. There's a war going on outside no man is safe from. You can run, but you can't hide forever. Prodigy said that in one of my favorite songs, Shook Ones. But it's the absolute truth. The war going on outside is truly a spiritual one. The stakes couldn't be higher in our lifetime. As a human race, we have to make a choice. Are we going to be cowards, or are we ready to die and stand on it for the Most High? I'm writing this to a fellow warrior of God. As warriors of God on this earth, we must first understand that we are amongst a bunch of cowards. It doesn't mean we can't strengthen them up and be warriors one day, as we can lend our godly strength to others. God's warriors must learn to stand alone in this world because you are the example of justice, love, and faithfulness. Humble but fearless, sharp and dangerous in prayer, passionate and caring, forceful and powerful all at the same time. These words aren't for everyone, my friend. Why, you ask? People will plan for defeat because they won't train for the mission. God's warrior. A person engaged or experienced in spiritual warfare, God's soldier. In this life, we are currently living in Satan's system. I started off this way because of the meaning itself, experienced in spiritual warfare. I've experienced spiritual warfare all of my life, literally. I'm sorry, but in my opinion, no one can truly speak to being a warrior of God unless you've been in hell, and I've lived in different simulations of hell on this earth. But even amongst all the demons, the consciousness that God blesses us with to have a discernment between good and evil has always played in my mind growing up. As warriors of God, you're either all the way in or all the way out. Well, thank you, Father God, for revealing yourself to me and making me a warrior of God over the course of these years. As a warrior of God, we must equip ourselves with the weapons that God has blessed us with, and we must equip others as well. I want to give my own version of the 10 Commandments of a warrior of God before continue. They are: 1. Have a full understanding of the Bible. 2. Listen to the Holy Spirit. 3. Always be willing to sacrifice. 4. Fulfill God's purpose. 5. Be the example. 6. Tell the truth no matter what. 7. Use your knowledge and wisdom. 8. Have complete faith and stand alone. 9. Be Christ-like. And 10. Be a prayer warrior. Lucifer and his army are a bunch of liars and cowards. God's warriors should always be prepared to shout out the truths found in the Bible because of God's word. Put on the salvation as your helmet and take the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of the God. Ephesians 6:17. When you're one of God's warriors, you will hear God's voice clearly. That voice you hear is the Holy Spirit. It can come through a song, a prayer, or from a sign from the Most High. Also, always be willing to listen to others, as God might be speaking through them to get to you. Therefore, we never stop thanking God that when you received His message from us, you didn't think our words as mere human ideas. You accepted what we said as a very word of God, which of course it is. And this word continues to work in you who believe. 1 Thessalonians 2:13. Warriors of God must choose righteousness over everything. We are faced with trials and tribulations of this world. It is easy for the devil to create doubt and make you think that going left is the way when you should be going right. But a righteous man knows better. God will bless us as a warrior of God. People will be looking at all of us and your moves. They will be listening to what comes out of our mouth. Teach these things and insist that everyone learns from them. Don't let anyone think less of you because you are young. Be an example to all believers in what you say, in the way you live, in your love, faith, and your purity. 1 Timothy 4:11-12. We are human, but we don't wage war as humans do. We use God's mighty weapons, not worldly weapons, to knock down the strongholds of human reasoning and to destroy false arguments. We destroy every proud obstacle that keeps people from knowing God. We capture their rebellious thoughts and teach them to obey Christ. 2 Corinthians 10:3-5.